Testing 1, 2, and we are live. Just kind of looking at my mic levels. That seems to be okay. How's everybody doing today? Happy Easter to those who celebrate. I hope everyone is having a good day nonetheless. Happy good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in this fine world. As always, I always say this on every video because I do appreciate the time you spend with me, whether it's watching a video or stopping by to chat about Atlas Earth here on Sundays. This Sunday afternoon here on the eastern seaboard seems to be like a good time to chat, and everybody seems to be enjoying it, so we're going to keep going. Several interesting things happened in this last week. If you just caught my last video, you know several things happened this week that was noteworthy. Welcome to Spain if you happen to live in Spain or be traveling through Spain on a consistent basis or going on vacation. I had somebody leave a chat, leave a message that they were getting ready to get married and are going to Spain for their honeymoon. So congratulations, and I hope you have a good trip. One update I want to provide because somebody pointed it out, and I checked with Annalise earlier. I had said in the video that you could play mini games in Spain, but that's not true right now. The reply was basically it's going to take a little while for things to get up and running because there has to be actual players in the area to have mini games and have a pool and everything. And that's another thing we can talk about. We got the big change of the pool or the mini games, and today will be the big test, right? So I saw that Manning had left a chat in Discord, a message that said that they're going to hold a show after the first mini game, which is later on, like 4 hours from now or something like that. I haven't checked lately, but this afternoon sometime Eastern time, and see how it goes. Because the big question is, with the big change in, you're no longer, if you haven't heard, there's no longer going to be a 2 Atlas buck charge to play a mini game. You're just going to have to watch a commercial, right? So, and then the big question around that was, well, how are they going to figure out the pool? So I don't have a whole lot of facts around that. I just know that we'll just have to go through it this afternoon and see how it goes. Otherwise, thanks for dropping by. So let's go ahead and jump in chat, see who's in chat. And then we can discuss whatever anybody wants to talk about, my plans for this next couple weeks leading up to next month. Looks like Palmer Husky is here. Welcome. Annalise is in the crowd. Thanks for dropping by, Annalise. Palmer Husky says, and if I don't see you, good night. So it must be night in their area of the world. Eric Wang's here. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by, as always. Annalise says, and we have an intro. This was back when I was playing the intro. Yeah, I tried to play the intro 2 minutes prior to the show going live, which I try to hit right on the hour, just to let people know, and I'm live. And yes, I know I get the knock for last week. I deserve it. What a wild time that was last week. I was pretty embarrassed. But nonetheless, we are live. Cerizi's here. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by, Cerizi. Scratching the itch. Good morning. First stream I've been able to catch live. Thanks for all the info. Well, you're quite welcome. I appreciate everybody watching my videos, and I just hope that I'm giving people some value. Trying to make videos with interesting topics and information that people could use that are going to play Atlas Earth. So Max City is here. Hello. Ashley Stanfield's here. Welcome, Ashley. Happy Easter to yourself as well. Robert S is here. Resilient Lives says, remains empty, and when I try to put tickets in, support cancels them as duplicates instead of addressing them. Interesting. Do you have one ticket open and then you keep putting in tickets on the same matter? I don't know. Max City says, Merry Easter. Plonker Jim's here. Welcome, Jim. How did you find the event with the new changes? I found that I could just swipe out of the game if I already knew I was going to lose and load it back up quicker than the ads. Well, I have not played it yet. Those changes will take effect here. Let me see. Let me check. I'm showing bowling in just about 4 hours now. So after that happens, then I will be able to tell you. I might play a few. I don't standardly play the mini games, but I might play a few just to check out the new situation. But I'll be able to let you know later on. And I think Manning said that he's going to have a show later on as well. Checking Discord. If you check the Atlas Earth Discord, well, I can just put it up here since I'm checking it. Manning says, after the US minigame completes today, I will do a video chat feedback session to capture your first reads of the free minigames feature. So that will be in about 4 hours. Well, it'll be, the minigame starts in 4 hours, so thereafter. Should be interesting nonetheless, because it has been a big discussion topic over the years of playing mini games, you know, the cost involved and such. So I mean, I applaud them for coming up with a way to make that change, still be financially viable for the company, and make people play the mini games a little bit happier, you know. So we'll see how it goes. I'm just hoping. I know that if the prize pools go down, we're going to hear a lot of people complaining. But then again, I'm not a chief person to talk about the mini games because, as you know, if you watch my videos, I'm not a big partaker of them. So I play them when I need to go through the challenge ladder, and thereafter not so much. Now, I have seen that going into the new situation is, you know, logically speaking, unless you place, you're not going to take anything away. So this also, so if you want to get in it, you got to not necessarily be in it to win it, but like Annalise puts in her videos, you got to be in it to place, right? And that was her goal over time, is to be able to place in it. And it's a fair goal, but now with the new situation, you've got a place to take anything away. And the flip side to that coin is it's getting rid of the people that were abusing the mulligans. So I'm sorry if you were one of the ones that were abusing the mulligans and you made profit on it. Hey, it was using the system how the system was, you know. That's fair to say, but that's gone too. So, and Plunker Jim says, not sure if I will be punished for that. UK user, yeah, I pretty much figured you were in the UK or somewhere in Europe because of saying that you had already played the games. Interesting take though. Lady Sharon's here. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by. Sharon says, good morning. Happy Easter, everyone. I currently have 90 plots, and I'm saving for 10 more by the end of April. Cool. That combined with 10 from ladder will be 20 more plunked down in my second target area. I just need to finish the ladder. Won't be able to play mini games today because I'll be doing family things. Looking forward to trying new mini games set up on Tuesday. Yeah, and I'm also looking for whenever they're going to release the new mini games. So that should be interesting. Well, like I said, I say this in a lot of videos. It's a game of gradual progression. Everybody's going to play a little bit different. You kind of go in and you look at the, you look at and you start to play in the game, right? And then you start understanding there's actually strategy to playing the game more efficiently. And then you get into playing it and you kind of get into a rhythm of how you're going to play the game, right? Like me, I have integrated my tier jumping in with completing the challenge ladder, but at the same time, as you go up in tiers, the tier jumping strategy and how you approach it becomes much different because the tiers get wider and wider and wider, and you have to quickly assess whether you're going to actually be able to do a full tier, right? And integrate that with the challenge ladder if you're trying to do the challenge. For example, so I've talked about this last week, and I did a video a week or two ago about this, but I'm sitting at 1,000 plots, which I have earned. I just went over 5 days ago. I hit my year mark. So at 1,000 plots here in the States, that puts me 100 under the top of the 4% tier, if you will. So I have that 100 plot kind of cushion there that I had planned to do next month. But I am considering if I'm checking, I don't quite have 5,000 Atlas bucks saved up at this point, but I was considering if I can get 5,000 saved up to go ahead and get another 50 parcels in time before the next super rent boost. Because we also talk about this a lot, is the fact that the reason to go over that first tier where you have your largest boost is because of the super rent boost, to put it blankly. And if you going into the super rent boost, it behooves you to have the most plots you possibly can, because that's where you're going to make the money, right? So anyway, I was considering going ahead and buying 50 more plots, which also in the situation, I'll get back to chat here in a minute, but I just wanted to kind of get this out there. I'm also in the situation that I've got 2 mayorships, and I've got them pretty good. I've got them, I don't want to say cemented, because you can never say that, because if one of the big dogs drives through your neighborhood, they can throw down parcels like you haven't seen and take it over, right? But I feel pretty good about the 2 areas I have mayorship. And there's one small area, kind of like that one area that who was it? Was it Sharon or Annalise? Somebody was talking about it last week, where they took over a very small area with a very small amount of parcels. I could take over mayorship of this small area this next week with 50 parcels. So I could get my 50 parcels plus take another mayorship if I wanted to, if I decide to go that route. But then that would leave me completely my wallet empty of Atlas bucks, so to speak. And I would want at least another 5,000 going into next month to start in on the next challenge ladder to do my parcel buys, right? But I don't want to exceed that 1,100 because that's the top of the tier. I want to sit there, and I'm thinking about buying a few more badges, kind of switching over to concentrating on badges for a while. But the badges around me are far and few in between, and I have to go, I have to go like a half hour in one direction to get one badge. I'm kind of in that situation. So that's where I stand. Let's jump back into chat and see what everybody's talking about. Miratoire, is it Miratoire? Normally, I get 200 to 300 for my weekend mini game. This time I got 400 for the same position. So there is more Atlas bucks in the pot with the new system. Nice. That's good to hear, and that's the first direct reply with some facts. But keep in mind, this is going to change depending upon your area, because everybody plays mini games within their specific area. And that goes back to the point why they're not live in Spain yet, is because there's just not enough people playing in Spain to actually have a mini game pot, right? So Cerezi says, I finally managed to complete the challenge ladder this week, nice, without doing any of the buy parcel missions this month. So I wouldn't break tier. Oh, okay, so you're sitting at the top of the tier. Good call. Yeah, like I said, I have no problem with breaking tier as long as it's planned, as long as you have a strategy and you know exactly why you're doing it and how you're doing it, right? This game, like I said, is all about gradual progression, and sometimes tier jumping big steps at a time, but it's all about having your plan in place and not accidentally breaking that tier and having to go to Reddit and complain about, oh, I'm losing money now, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's logical progression. That's about it wrapped up. Plonker Jim says, if I go on holiday to a country that doesn't have Atlas Earth yet, will my account get banned? Just want to keep my daily streak. No, it will not get banned. Annalise says, at Plonker Jim, her reply is, you will still be able to log in and collect your daily ladder, and you will have minimal gameplay. Yeah, like she said, you'll still be able to log in and keep your streak going. if it's not active country, then obviously you're not going to be able to buy land and things like that. And you will have minimal things you can do because a lot of the deals, like arcade deals and stuff like that, will probably not be live. Now, you may still be able to play the arcade games you have going. I'm not sure whether it will recognize advancement, but you could play the game and get it up to that position where it's like one level right before you're going to get that position, and then play another game and get them all primed for when you get back home. Then you can go ahead and exceed and get your ABs for playing the game, something like that. But there will be very minimal you can do in the game if you're in a country that is not live. I did a video on this here a while back. It's pretty interesting. Resilient Live says, I put in an additional ticket with more information and a picture illustrating the problem. They keep dismissing the tickets as duplicates without addressing the issue, so my arcade remains empty. Over a month later, and still no new games at all. Interesting. I have no, I have no idea. Do you have a secondary device? In other words, besides your phone, do you have like a tablet or something like that? Because I have heard people that, the rule is, I mean, you can log in and use multiple devices as long as one is only an active phone. The other has to be a tablet or a phone that doesn't have an active phone number, like an old phone or something like that. My point is that I have heard people talk about getting, and in fact, Annalise was talking about this earlier on Reddit, getting different arcade deals when you switch devices. So that may be something to try. As far as knowing why they're dismissing your tickets, I don't know. Byron97 is here. Welcome, Byron. I had a great uncle named Byron. That's an old school name. I like it. My dad's uncle was named Byron. Very old school. I like it. Says, here in South Africa, I finished 13th in South Africa and 3rd in my province and got 295 Atlas bucks, more or less the same without the cost, plus or minus 150 Atlas bucks. It's now worth playing. Nice. That's good to hear. Yeah, I mean, I'm not dismissing the mini games as a way to make Atlas bucks in game, right? I'm just saying I don't prefer to play them. It's a great way to play. It's a great way to make Atlas bucks if you have the time, okay? That's a key thing. And 2, if you have good reflexes or you can learn patterns, because there are some of them people say that they've got a pattern, like the Warship, which I abhor, says there's a certain pattern. I still haven't got it, and my reflexes are not what they used to be, right? So if you have good reflexes, can learn patterns, and you have 2 hours to spare, it's a great way to make Atlas bucks if you can put up with it. With me, it's more like pulling my hair out. So I'm not dismissing them. I always mention them in my videos, and it's all personal taste, right? So, and hopefully we get the 2 new ones here relatively soon, which should be rock, paper, scissors and trivia. I'm interested in the trivia one. So Ashley says, lately I've been playing the mini games just to complete the challenge ladder, which I've already done for this month. I'm going to play today to test out how the free games are going to work. Nice. Same here, pretty much. KGM Jams in the house. Welcome, KGM. Thanks for dropping by. Says happy Easter to everyone. Happy Easter to yourself. Hope you're having a fine day. Mirtois says, at Resilient Lives, do you use a VPN on your device? I'll stop right there. Do not use a VPN against the rules. Okay, that is one of those things that will get you banned. Okay, because one of the big things of cheating in Atlas Earth is representing your device in a location where it isn't physically. So, kind of spoofing where you are. Okay. So do not use a VPN on your device. It's one of those things that can and will get you banned. Okay, so I'm going to complete the question though. Do you use a VPN on your device while you search for arcade games? I only find arcade games when I deactivate mine. Okay, well, Mirotois, like I said, I'm not going to beat a dead horse, so to speak, but if they catch you running a VPN while playing Atlas Earth, it's one of those things that can get you banned. Kid Flash 360 is here. Welcome. Nice name. I'm about to finish my first tier. Nice. It's one of those things that when you first start playing, it's hard to see how the evolution can keep going. It's just like, oh man, I've been playing for a week and I've only made 5 cents or something like that, right? But it's just one of those things. It's gradual evolution. Keep going with it and make logical progression, and try not to step over those tiers if you don't intentionally mean to. Resilient Live says, at Mirotois, the issue is that I have 6 games that I did not download showing as downloaded but not opened, and that is blocking me. Atlas Earth News says, I don't like Atlas Earth. Well, if you don't like Atlas Earth, you shouldn't. Why are you here? Annalise says, me and Lady Sharon. Atlas Earth News says, LMAO, just memeing, I'm a buy more land. Wish I could watch the stream. Well, have a good day if you can't stay, but thanks for dropping in. Mirotois says, I have 6 mayorships and only made 60 AB in 2 months, 40 for myself buying stuff. Well, I have 2 mayorships and I have not made a whole lot. I can say that I'm checking my I included this. Let's see here. I'm just looking. Yeah, I mean, they've been coming in once in a while. Let's see. We are on the 20th of the month, and I've made 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. I've made 120 Atlas bucks this month so far off of 2 mayorships. So they come in a little bit at a time. Maybe once or twice a week I'll see some come in. But like I've said before, a lot of it is becoming mayor in an area that has a larger population and a lot of traffic, right? But the flip side to that, or the double-edged sword, so to speak, is those areas cost more Atlas bucks to become mayor. A lot of the smaller areas where you don't have a high population are cheaper to get, but you just don't get a lot of income off of those, on a weekly basis. So Idris Makadem is here. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by, Idris. One of that's Idris. It's a very nice name. One of my favorite actors. His name Idris Elba. Love those shows he's in. Free minigames is a very good improvement. I think a lot of people agree. We'll just have to wait and see how the pools go. Early reports say the pools look good after the change. Lady Sharon says, I haven't gotten any badge stuff on the mayorship, by the way. I just wanted to do it to say I did. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously, if you can pick up mayorships, do so. It's not going to hurt you, and it can only help you. It just relies upon people driving through your area or driving to your area specifically now that we have maps to pick up those mayorships. But you're only going to get income if they buy a badge, right? And by the way, if you're taking over an area as mayor, take it over as mayor first and then buy your badge, and then you'll get income from your badge sale. So Ashley Stanfield says, good seeing you at Atlas Earth News. Mirotois says, in Germany, I normally made 200 to 300 on the weekend minigame. This time I made 400 for the same position and had no cost to play. Yeah. But once again, this is one of those things that they will take a look at after the first round of minigames and adjust it, probably. I have no idea. I haven't talked to them about it, but it's just logical. They look at all the numbers on a consistent basis. It's just business, right? And you adjust things as go along. And hopefully it comes out to be about the same or a little bit better, right? Obviously, they're going to look at how much income they have coming in from all the ads people are now watching during the game versus how much is going out, you know, and try to balance it out. So obviously it's in favor of them because it's a business, right? So, but hopefully nobody loses, right, compared to the old system. Gullible Path is here. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by. Just finished UK bowling. The rewards look like they have doubled when I checked payout. Nice. That's nice. But like I said, don't expect it to stay. I mean, it may be great this time and they may decide to adjust it down. Who knows? But later on, Manning said he was going to, after the event here in the U.S. or either Eastern or Central Time, I think they're usually on Central Time. Either way, they're going to do a video talking about how the first round under the new system worked. So we'll have to wait and hear directly from Manning, and then we can talk about it next week, right? Palmer Husky's here. So I work overnights and stay up overnights, even on my days off. So would that gameplay rhythm be the rhythm of the night? Gloria Estefan fan. That's a dad joke. RC Scoop is here. Welcome, RC. Dang it, I'm always late to the live stream. Well, I mean, it's noon Eastern Daylight Time. It's been the same since I started it. Set your alarm. Ashley says, that Lady Sharon, I needed 27 parcels to get to 150. And there was a town near me that the mayor had 14, so I bought 27 and took the mayorship. I occasionally get badge income from it. Yeah, you also, whenever you take over mayorship, you also have to have a side plan. What happens if somebody takes it over from me? So I have a plan on my end. I like to keep a little cushion just in case somebody takes it over so I can go grab it back. And it also depends upon how much you're bringing in, you know. So if you're only getting like 20 Atlas bucks a month out of it, is it really worth taking over if you have to put a couple hundred parcels into it? Who knows? It's just all a personal decision at that point, right? But also think as we move forward in the game and the game is becoming more popular, more people are starting to play it, in other words, there's going to be more competition, and you're going to have to expect that unless you like live out in the country or something like that. So either way, it's become easier with the maps in play for people to see the areas they have to go. Oh, I got to go out and buy a badge. So maybe you have the mayorship next county over from me. You get a badge income from me because you bought that one. So Plonker Jim says, I find the 2-hour mini games a bit too long because you feel like you have to stay the whole time to be in the top bracket. Yeah, that's one of the things that gets me. I just don't have 2 hours to dedicate. You can also go by, what Annalise talks about on her videos is not shooting for, top 10 or whatever, because that would require being very good in the game, having it down pat, plus staying the whole 2 hours or whatever time frame it is. She just shoots for being in the top whatever bracket, I think it's 500 or whatever it is, top 100 or some, whatever it takes to get a payout, just shooting to be in there. And, gradually over time, trying to get better. That's what we all try to do at anything in life, right? Just try to get better than you were last time. So, but yeah, I completely agree with you. That's one of the things that I haven't played the mini games on a lot on a usual basis is because I just don't have 2 hours to sit down and play them, right? I've got so much going on with the channel and covering different games, and I work 8 to 9 hours a day, doing stuff around here. I had to mow the grass yesterday or day before yesterday, and I gotta go get some grass seed, etc. You didn't tune in to talk about this, but you know what I mean. Same kind of idea. Lady Sharon says at Ashley, I can speak, tongue twister. That's cool. Most of the small areas I've checked on the map are listed as a generic county name instead of the neighborhood area. I wish they would be considered separate badge areas. Yeah, it's kind of like the one I'm thinking about going at. It's like there's the city, and then right in the middle of the city, there's just like this one little area that for some reason has its own badge. And there's not going to be a whole lot of people passing through. It might just be like a neighborhood or something like that. You kind of ask yourself, like in this situation, is it worth the 50, Atlas bucks to go take it over? How many badges am I going to sell in that little neighborhood or whatever it is? Sometimes you have a city and then you have Old Town, like right in the middle, and it's got its own badge, something like that. Sharon says, the area I took is kind of like a utility area for a city that somehow is listed separate than the city. It's off a country road. Yeah, we were talking about this last week. So instead of city name, it's city name -1. Yeah, I've seen that before. You're driving along and you're like, wait, I thought I had that badge. No, it's -1 or -2 I've seen, for bigger areas. Robert S. says, I don't even know what a VPN is. Well, not to become a tech show, but that's kind of what I do for a living, IT/system administrator. VPN stands for Virtual Private Network, and it's a program that a lot of people access to do various things, but if it's usually my connection just went down. I'm sorry if I just dropped. For some reason, my network connection dropped. Wesley Miller, thanks. Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate it. Wesley says, did most of your parcels come from the games or from AMP? I'd say most of my parcels came from a combination of the AMP program and my referral codes. I do make a decent amount off of the referral codes, people watching my videos and starting to play the game. I do make, I haven't made a whole lot off of games lately because I'm in a status of I've got a bunch of games downloaded that I'm trying to push through to the end, and I haven't, even though we've currently got an arcade thing going on, I haven't downloaded anything new because I'm trying to push through to the end on some of these, and some of them are taking a while. So I have made a decent amount over the time playing the game, but currently I haven't made a whole lot. And if I looked big picture wise in my year of playing the game, most of my Atlas bucks and therefore parcels have come from a combination of the AMP program, which I talk about a lot because I'm blessed enough to have decent several of the places around me, which I'm looking forward to the new ones being released. I had taken my phone off because I wanted to open up it's time for my 20-minute ad. Sorry. Let's go ahead and do that. But yeah, between, recommending the game to people and then using the AMP program. Okay, let's jump back into chat. But once again, thanks for the super chat, Wesley. I do appreciate it. It helps keep the channel going. Okay, so we're back on Robert S. So VPN is a program that is usually used by businesses. If you work remotely, you can hook up to a VPN, and it's like you are on the company's network, so you can have access to data that's on the company computers. That's what it's used for in business. There are a lot of other things that you can do with VPN. One of the things is called spoofing, which means changing where the computer sees that you're located. And in this case, it's against the rules because spoofing your location in Atlas Earth is a big no-no, because one of the things the game is based around is being where you're buying parcels, right? Physically being there. So that's why a VPN is against the rules. But my referral friend button is gone out of my settings, and support just says it's aware and have disabled it. Any ideas? Yeah, you know, Robert, you need to watch my video from a day or two ago, because that's one of the topics. But to sum it up for you, the referral program, which I just mentioned, has been of great help to me in the past, is being worked on, apparently. About a week and a half to 2 weeks ago, they took it out of game. If you have an old code from the referral program, it will still work, okay? The URL, so when you get the code, you get two things. You get a link that people can click on it to go and download it. And you get a short code. It's 5 or 6 digits, okay? That people can download the game, and then after they get their first free parcel in game, go up into the settings and then enter that code, and then, you know, whoever's the referrer gets credit for it, and the referee gets their credit. So that's the way that works. Old codes still work. I haven't heard about what they plan on it. The last I heard, they were working on it. So hopefully they intend on bringing it back, and I hope they don't nerf it in any way. That's just my personal feelings. So Annalise goes on to answer Robert, says a referral generator is currently down for repairs. If you have an old code, it will work, just like I just said. We do not have information on when it will be back up again. So hopefully that's... Hopefully they have some new ideas for it. Who knows what the changes are going to be. Hopefully they bring it back. Meritois says flat rural area, so not many people. In that case, the mayorships would be better, like if you took a trip to town and tried to snag a town with more people in it. Lady Sharon says on the VPN, Verizon and other companies advertise to use a VPN for security, but I don't dare because of games like Atlas Earth. I wish they made a VPN Lite that would have an option to share location. Well, yeah, this is not a tech show. I could get into it and talk about it because I use various VPNs, and most big companies require VPN usage if you're working outside of the main offices, you know, because if you're working in the office on the network, then you have secure traffic. It's all about security, right? It's just that VPNs can be used, like I said, in this case, it's about the location and spoofing. I mean, for years, people used VPN to spoof for Netflix, right? You want to watch a video that's not available in the country you're at, you spoof your location. Hey, UK's got a cool comedy series I want to watch from, you know, British humor, you know. I'll just spoof my location as that, like I'm living in England, and I can watch the funny UK series. They've cut down on that too. So I'll just leave it with it. Don't do it. Outside, yeah, the VPN is great for security usage, you know, but not on your phone active while you're playing Atlas Earth. So Resilient Live says, I included a picture of the error message that shows for all 6 games on my updated ticket. That is why support won't respond despite the evidence of the issue. And you know, there's a further issue there too with the games. It's because it's a third party, right? A third party, there's several different subsystems. I talk about this on a lot of videos, right? There's several different subsystems within Atlas Earth that have been added over the last year and a half. The arcade is one of them. It's run by a completely separate company from Atlas Reality, right? So there's some things that they have control of. There's some things they do not, so... Lady Sharon says, apps, so one can be used for security, but also share info with select apps so you can use them. Of course, you couldn't pretend to be from somewhere else, just security. I would just make sure that if you have a VPN app on your phone, that it is off when you are playing Atlas Earth. I'm not saying VPNs are bad. I'm saying they can be used for shady things, and I'm saying they're against the terms of service for Atlas Earth. So just know that. It was one of those live and learn type situations because in the past somebody abused it and used it for shady practice playing in the game. I'm not going to get into that situation because I don't know all the details, but suffice it to say that they made it against the terms of service. Alex Bernard says, I will buy your house, Bronze. Well, that would be tough to do, seeing as how I own like a significant square around my house. I own my house and the houses of many people around me. So if any of my neighbors started playing, they might be a little perturbed at me. Ashley says, with my tier jump, I'm debating on whether I want to take over a couple of small mayorships when I tier jump or try to take over a bigger mayorship with a few tier jumps. Here's the thing. It all comes down to this. If there's no traffic, if there's not a large population in an area, to me, there's no value in being a mayor of an area if it doesn't pay out. Okay? There's no inherent value of being a mayor in an area unless you get badge sales. Okay? And that comes down to, and I've done a lot of thought on this lately because I have some areas around my place that I could take over for relatively low, but I've chosen to spend hundreds on getting the areas I have because they have a decent traffic and they have a decent population base, right? So my advice would be probably save up and plan to get an area of higher population density around you that has good drive-through traffic, because that's your better chance of getting badge revenue, so to speak. And once again, if you're going to take over as mayor first and then buy the badge. If you haven't the badge, then you get mayorship plus you get your revenue from the badge you just bought. Joe Smith's here. I finally made one. Well, welcome, Joe. Welcome to the party. Miratois says Atlas headquarters is in Texas, so it should be Central Time. Yeah, you're right. Annalise says top 500. I can make it in 2 games consistently. Nice. Nice. Joe says, but getting top 10 here in my area usually lines up with the U.S. top 500. I've gotten top 500 once. Nice. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Annalise says, I can still see you. That's after my network drop. Yeah, I mean, there's a network drop there for maybe 20 seconds. Maybe the network didn't drop. There's a screen I look at in my YouTube studio that shows, how many people are tuned in and everything, and it gives me a graph, and then everything just like went blank. So Plonker Jim says, I wish we had AMP in the UK because I feel like that's where US gets a lot of Atlas bucks. You're right. Also, 2 AB per ad in US must be nice. Yeah, I mean, this is an issue, or this is a game reality that we talk about a lot. Hopefully, logically, the way I think, UK would be next in line to get the AMP. But it all comes down to banking regulations, and it all comes down to specifically credit card regulations. So as you know, banking and credit card regulations are a lot different in the UK than they are here in the United States, and they differ around the world. So I can see that this being an extremely large hill to climb, so to speak, for each country. But like I've said in the past, I think that they make a decent amount off the program, and that if they could have it live in your country, I'm assuming that they would. So hopefully they have stated they're working on it. So that's all the info I have. Supreme Victory Studios is here, says, hey, all, have a blast. Well, thanks for dropping in. Appreciate it. Jim says, interesting that you are into computing. I am just about to finish my master's degree in software engineering. Nice. I work for a software company. Yeah, I'm not going to give any specifics, but we were bought up by a large company worldwide, and I did IT for years. Love taking apart computers, repairing them, that kind of thing. And I'm now an admin. I'm a system admin. I do a lot of different things. I wear a lot of different hats, but I went from being in a small company and wearing a lot of different hats. We were IT. We did everything from image and issue laptops to upkeeping the phone systems and the copier systems in office, and upkeeping the network and security. We did it all, to being under a large company where you're very siloed. They don't like that word, right? But it's the reality of large company living these days. So, yeah. So I'm a Salesforce admin currently. So one thing about it is you always have to be mobile. In other words, continue your learning throughout your life so that you can roll with the punches, and always have a backup plan. That's my advice from a guy with a gray beard. Always have a backup plan. Plan B. And sometimes plan C always helps. That's good for anybody in life. Joe says, anyone else do the full rewards from Winked? It's rough to make it to the last reward. I'm not familiar with that in arcade, that game. I think I said this last week, but I am still working through. Let me pull up my arcade. Retry. Okay, so it's not letting me open the shop. Yeah, I take it off screen because I don't necessarily want to show any personal information that I don't want to show, if you know what I mean. Oh, it's doing the login, the Google login thing. Yeah. Since that whole login change about a month ago, I have real problems opening the game on my home network. Outside my home network, it works fine. But on my home network, it takes multiple tries. Okay, so we got a reward boost. So let's pull this back over. Okay, let's look back at chat, but then we can talk about games. But you can see the top one. I've been working my way through Castle Duels, and it takes quite a while. Like, I'm working on level 10 now, and the payouts are very low. And obviously, everybody's payouts is going to be different. You can have the same game, and your payouts are going to be, much different. But I've been working on this one, and the payouts are pretty low consistently until you start hitting Arena 12 and higher. But that was just one of the games I've been working on. The other one was Merge Studios, but I'm really over Merge games. Really, I play a few levels here and there. But the Warhammer 40K I enjoyed. Marvel I completed. I really enjoyed that one, but I completed, but I had to put in a ticket. So. Okay, let's jump back and put the phone back over there. So yeah, suffice it to say, I'm working on some long-range goals. I've found that most of the games over the last year I'm getting lower payouts from, and they're taking me longer to do it. So once in a while, I see people on the Reddit or something that have big payouts, and there's a lot of different variables there. So Manning Field is here. Hey, Manning, thanks for dropping by. Appreciate it. Manning says, not nerfing referrals. Nice. Love to hear that. Vendor changed technology. Pretty decent level of effort to fix, but it will get fixed. I'm glad, because I've been a user of the program, and it's helped my journey in Atlas Earth, so to speak. Robert says, I saw the video the other day, but where would I find my referral code? Well, if you would have to have one from the past. Okay, you'd have to have a previous one. I was just noting that if you had an old one, it should still work. But like Manning just said, it is currently disabled. But nice to hear that they intend on bringing it back. I was starting to wonder, I wonder if they're bringing it back. And if so, in what state? It's going to be better, going to be worse. That's good to hear, though. And Elise says, at Robert S., if you do not have any old code, you will not be able to get one at the moment. Yeah. Palmer Husky says, I think that each player should have a static referral code randomly generated and never changes for the life of the account. I like that idea. A lot of games do that. As you know, I cover a lot of games on this channel, and a lot of games just have one static code. So, but it's been an evolution, because that program, when I first started a year ago, you generated a code, it was good for 15 uses, and then you had to generate another one. So I had like this kind of evolution where I had to consistently generate new codes over time, right? Well, we got to a point, and then Manning verified that there's no limit on them now, so I just stuck to using one. But it would be nice to just have one generated for your account, and then that's it. Ashley at Manning, I was curious about what was going on with the referral program. That makes sense. Yazin's in the house. Welcome, Yazin or Yazin. The motivation is so low here in the Netherlands. People in USA get ×2 on ad and a lot of Atlas bucks on games. We get just 1 on the games and ads. They should do something with this. Well, we've talked about this a number of times, and if you're from the Netherlands, you might be new to the discussion. But everywhere outside the United States, it all comes down to ad revenue. If you've watched a number of my videos, you know I talk about this a number of times. This is a game that's based upon advertising. And the places, this is a feedback I've read, the places that yield, logically speaking, the places that yield more ad revenue or more revenue for the company yield a larger return for the players. Now, I hear a lot of people talk about this, especially outside the United States, where it's true, but that's all I can say, and that's all I've heard from the company. So, and I'm not affiliated with the company in any way. I'm just a dude with a gray beard playing the game and doing YouTube videos. But welcome in the Netherlands. Hopefully it picks up. But on the flip side, since it just started in the Netherlands, this is prime time to pick yourself up some mayorships. Just saying. Neo Radio 713, welcome to the house. In a lot of the tutorials, the advice is to buy parcels up to 150 in the US, and then buy badges. I would advise buying 1 badge, then when you first start out, just to get the boost. What is your thoughts? Well, there's a guide up, and I link it in all my videos. It wasn't made by me. He logically went through and did the numbers, and the numbers, it wouldn't hurt you. I mean, it's 200 Atlas bucks, and you get a flat 5%. He was just going by the numbers of what would make you the most income at any one time, logically speaking, the best use for your Atlas bucks. So in the big picture of everything, I'm not a math nerd. I can't go through, and I've followed Tasty Wallet's guide, and that's why I always link it in my show notes. He updates it whenever needed. It was it's changed a lot. My approach to the game has changed a lot since I've gotten closer to that 1,000 mark, or that 2 times multiplier, which is the eventual goal, because at that 2 times multiplier, everybody across the world basically becomes equal, right? But as I've leveled up, my approach to the game has changed a little bit. So that's dictated what I put in my videos. So to answer you directly, I don't think it would hurt. I mean, sure, grab yourself a badge. You can just start getting that 5 times boost. But he did the Tasty Wallet did the guide just by the numbers, so I don't think it makes a big difference. You could go ahead and grab the badge whenever. Robert S. says, I never knew there where to find it. Was just curious, even though it doesn't work at the moment. Yeah. I'm scrolling down just to see what's going on. Yeah, I know I'm way behind in chat. I'm just trying to. Yeah, normally you would click on this little gear icon, and then within your information in the settings, you would have a refer friends little box to click on, and then you could go ahead and generate a code, send an email to somebody, whatever. I use them and I post them in my videos so that people can use them if they want to start playing. Resilient Live says, should I repeat my no new arcade games for a month problem now that Manning is here to see if he has a solution? I don't know. Jorge Gallardo says, this kind of content is fun. Well, welcome, Jorge. Or George, however you pronounce it. It's always good to see new names. Annalise says, Manning is able to scroll the chat. Manning says, UK and Euro use PIN to process Visa and MasterCard, and the transaction margins are much smaller, making AMP not economically viable. Wow, that's new, interesting information. Thanks for kicking that in, Manning. Yeah, I don't know any of the facts, but that is a good fact to keep in mind. I do know that, you know, the credit card and banking rules are much different overseas than they are here in the States. Ashley says, Arcade is through a third party. Like I said, as far as I know, Manning wouldn't be able to help you. Joe says, speaking on banking regulations, I see so many ads that suggest people have lawsuits on addictive gameplay, and I've heard the European Union has been hard on these things. Yeah, I mean, just to kind of get off track a little bit here, the European Union has been leading the way on all of these, we would call loot box, gambling box type games. Almost every free-to-play, quote-unquote, game out there, a lot of them have some type of gambling mechanism. Buy a loot box, get a random, you know, whatever, you know. So the European Union has cracked down on that, and they've cracked down on a lot of things, as well as use of PII, personal information. So there's a lot of stricter regulations in Europe than there are here in the States as far as the use of personal information, which restricts a lot of like survey usage and stuff like that. So I'm not a pro. I just kind of know about these things from work. So I can understand why spreading, getting some of the things that are active in Atlas Earth in the United States into other countries outside the United States would be a lot of red tape and a tall mountain to surmount, so to speak. Justin's here, welcome. Says, I have 2 mayorships in Connecticut, and KOQ came and took over a lot. Wales have an upper hand, but keeps the game challenging. 1 year and 5 months in, and the game has only improved. Yeah, I agree. You've been here a little bit longer than I have. Yeah, they've continually said this is just, there's not going to be any limitations on what you can buy. It's just a game. I mean, the person who has the most parcels, you know, before I got a mayorship or a couple mayorships, I had this idea in my head that they were going to pay out a lot more than what they did. So, you know, I do like the consistent payout, you know, every now and again. And it goes back to my statement on, I think I would prefer mayorships that take a little bit more effort to take over, but are larger population dense areas and more travel through traffic, because that's going to yield badge income. Because at this point in time, there's no benefit to taking over smaller towns that really, you know, you could take it over, say you're mayor, that's great, but if nobody buys badges in your town, you know, of course, there's the argument saying that it's better to have them, and then as the game proceeds into the future and it becomes more popular, then you've got that. People start coming out to your town, especially with the maps active and everything, to buy badges and things like that, then it could become. So it's all a toss-up. kind of scrolling through chat here. Mary Van Dyke is here. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by. Does Atlas Earth work with a VPN? Well, Mary, we talked about this a few minutes ago, but VPNs are against the rules. So VPN usage leads to spoofing, and that is against the terms of service, and it is one thing that can and will get you banned. So like I said earlier, if you have a VPN on your phone, make sure it's off when you're playing Atlas Earth. Manning says, no new arcade games. Only path to resolution is to file support ticket directly with Atlas. Resilient Live says, I sent tickets with picture showing the error message. How do I get someone to answer those tickets? Atlas Earth News says, if people in the office think you are photoshopping evidence, then it's tricky. Yeah, I've heard of that, and you can also get banned that way, too. Basically, don't cheat. Play fair and square. Hey, Cocky Gaming is here. Welcome. And, you know, it's at the top of the hour, and we're getting ready to say goodbye. But Cocky Gaming just wanted to stop in and say hello. Hope you all are having a fantastic Easter. Well, thanks for dropping by. Happy Easter to you as well. Okay, well, it's top of the hour. First of all, once again, to all those who celebrate, happy Easter. This has been another great Sunday conversation. Thank you all for dropping in and spending a little time with me. And as always, I appreciate it when you watch my videos. Leave a like and subscribe. And if you have something to say, leave a comment, because that always helps the YouTube algorithm, so to speak. And once again, thanks for Annalise and Manning for spending some time with us. I appreciate it. This has been Bronze Dragon. As always, I hope everyone on your side is happy and healthy. And hey, I'll see you in Atlas Earth.